Hello, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au, and this is part 4, the final part of my monthly observations for December 2024. In this video, I look at the month's reality numbers. In numerology, the reality number denotes the end states that we're about to arrive at by working with the month's dynamics however we do on spiritual and egoic levels, because of course as spiritual and egoic beings we're going to be doing that all of the time in whatever way we do. The reality numbers therefore talk about, in one sense, not only the end states as in a physical state, an physically experienced state, but also the perceptual states, the attitudinal states, the energetic states we're here to realise and get to this month. I've written a little bit about the two reality numbers, 494 and 2176, which reduces to 7, on my website as a preamble to this video. So please go through to that psychicandenergywork.com.au monthly observations page where you'll catch what I've written there. So let's have a look at 494. 494, as I've mentioned, it can flag the birth of understanding. 49, because you've got that 49 leading to a 4. 4 plus 9 equals 4 as well, through 13. So it's saying that through 4 and 9 we get to 4. In other words, through moments that encourage our understanding. 9 is closure. 9 is closing off on things, dealing with things, coming to greater compassion as a result of that. So 49.4 is saying that no matter how understanding self is right now, this month is going to up the degree that we channel of that. In other words, don't be surprised if life helps you understand more. Now, that's really interesting if we go right back to the birth numbers, which I outlined in part 2 of this month's series. We have a 12-3 and we have a 2036 going through 11 to 2. So therefore, realizing big picture truth, understanding self and life with self and for self as it wants to be now and as we can see and appreciate it now. So the reality numbers for December 2024 are resonating very strongly with the birth numbers, and they're also flagging how, in a sense, this month wants us to really get things, not only conceptually, not only as brand new ideas and light bulbs, which I talked about in part 3, but also in a way that we really get it. We understand, ourselves, but also each other, of course, to that next degree. And when you throw into the mix the 3s that are featuring through this month's chart, 3 being realised, 3 being also communication, don't be surprised if this month really helps you cut to the chase with yourself and with others in a way that could turn out to be things like problem solving, listening to one another more, having to listen to one another more, and of course therefore having to understand, or even being given the opportunity to understand more about ourselves, about each other. That's interesting because again the specific reality number for this month is 2176, and that passes through 16 on its way to 7. 16 is the number of rebalancing. 7 is the number of wisdom. So all of these numbers this month, which is really exciting in a way, because again it really helps us understand that this month is here to help us really get whatever we've got to get to step into 2025 in a clearer, lighter, more balanced, more grounded, more ready sort of sense. 16 can feel like a time when the universe turns the dial. Just like 11, which is featuring also in this month's chart, 2036. Just like 11, 16 can be a time when life just goes, you know what, I'm going to take your normal day and I'm going to throw you a curveball, or I'm going to tweak the movie in a way that the script isn't what you started with. and the script is nowhere near what you expected, sometimes that can be an absolute delight. It can be an absolute surprise. Congratulations, isn't life wonderful? And then, of course, at other times, it's a very bad hair day. It's a flat tire when we don't need it. It's the computer crashing when we don't need it, all very last minute, no time at all. And yet, as we breathe and work through it, all of a sudden things just come into place and we achieve the deadline, we get the task done, and it really wasn't that difficult after all. The curveball didn't stop us from achieving a thing. In fact, it gave us even more insight into life, into the universe, into ourselves, and what happens when we allow those levels of reality to feature. This month, again, is here to help us get wise. How do we get wise? How do we understand more? All of the numbers of this year's chart, this year's chart, but also this month's chart, are inviting us again to use our time wisely, to make sure that we are ending the day in the right vibe, spending our days channeling the right vibes, and therefore not allowing reality to push us too fast, to pull us off centre, to take control of our schedules, our minds, our futures in all the ways it can when it gets full. And of course, now is a really good time to revisit that, because this year has been full of that stuff. When life gets busy, it is so easy to feel victim. It is so easy to feel powerless. It is so easy to feel as if one has no choice. We're just being forced. And yet, of course, every second is a choice. Every response is a choice, even when we can't even remember that. And so this month, don't be surprised if it helps you regroup in. You have choice. You have breath. And even if the deadline is 5 minutes away and you've got zip all time to deliver to it, you can still breathe as you task towards that end point. And through breath, you can still, in that moment, remember, while still focusing on your task, you can still remember that, hello, if I make room for space, if I make space for guidance, for the divine to speak, and therefore guide me, and therefore even quite possibly help me, not only through me, but also through others, quite possibly that will occur. I'd argue quite probably if we do that well. So in a sense, this month is also, by the looks of the chart, a time that could offer, you could say, miracles, surprises, moments where I don't believe that just happened as an attainment, as an achievement. We have to bear in mind, of course, that this all depends on how self interfaces with whatever presents. And of course, therefore, we're all having the reminder right now of how each and every second we have the choice of which part of ourselves is driving our bus, egoic or spiritual, child or adult, reactive, subjective or objective. So again, don't be surprised if this month reminds you of these things, helps you step into those practices more, and also delight in the results when you do. Don't be surprised if through others, whether that is human others, invisible others, animal others, nature others, whatever. Don't be surprised if through the world of others you are reminded of these things and helped through whatever learning curve is involved to manifest this wisdom, this understanding in a way that makes you more clear, more robust, and more ready to just get on and go when 2025 hits. So all the very best to you. Thank you so much for your support, your input, your feedback, your custom over this year. I wish you well as the year closes and also as the next year unfolds. Take good care. Call if you need. I look forward to speaking with you again soon.